Welcome to Bunch Formation, your newest favorite college football show. I am Chris Vannini, and I'm not storming the field because we expected this to happen.
And I am David Ubben. I've been working all day on about 3.5 hours of sleep. It's a late recording. So I'm not legally responsible for anything that I say over the course of this podcast. I check with my lawyers and that checks out legally. So, fire away, Chris. Let's do it.
We got a huge show again. Four top 10 teams go down, 5 undefeateds go down. 2 more coaches have been fired as of this recording. And David Ubben visited Touchdown Jesus for the first time. That's mostly the reason you are in the shape you are in. You had a night game. You had to drive all the way back to Chicago, early flight. So you're tired and you have kids. But David, Notre Dame, you tweeted it was like as picturesque as it can possibly be. How was the Notre Dame trip?
So I had been on campus one time in July, like 15 years ago. So like I'd kind of been there. I didn't really have a lot of experience with it. Chris, you know me pretty well. I appreciate things, but I don't think I'm overly saccharine. Would you say that that's a fair assessment of how I view the
As
world?
someone who criticizes the Rose Bowl sunset often, I would agree about that about you.
So that said, like it is like a really special place, man. Like it feels like history. It feels really kind of unique. It's Indiana, so everything's flat. That's a little bit different than kind of what I've been used to, for a long time. Obviously I went to Mizzou, so their campus is mostly flat, but man, it was awesome. And the campus just feels like if you were drawing up a college campus for like a Hallmark movie or something, it would be taking place on Notre Dame's campus. And it's just awesome, man. Like it's hard to explain, but it just feels a little bit different. It feels tied to history in a way that while some campuses are, this one just you can feel it and sort of see it everywhere. But at the same time, like the stadium is obviously very modern. I had never covered a game there. They have like an army of college kids wearing ill-fitting suits, and I'm sure they're poorly paid to like point people where to go and, run the elevator, do all this stuff. And so like the game day operations is like well done. Like it's a great place to cover a game. So and the atmosphere was really good. Obviously, rivalry game. It was pretty rainy. They didn't get delayed, so I did get some sleep. And it was awesome, man. It was if you ever get a chance to go to a game at Notre Dame, like you know me on the show. I'm pretty honest. I call it like I see it. Notre Dame, the game day experience, the stadium, like it's as good as everyone says. And I did not watch Rudy last week, so I'm not,
well, you should have.
Bias.
It feels like college football, like what you imagine in your brain what college football was like for 100 years. And I haven't been to the new one. I covered a game and went to a game as a fan before they had a video board up there, even 15 years ago. So even more so then, it felt like a going back in time. And I'm glad you had fun. That's another place. Shout out.
It was great. And by the way, so I did pick up a souvenir for the shelves. We got this thing here. We got to play like a champion today.
It's is that a magnet or like a?
It is a magnet, but I'm just gonna, put it up there. I'll find a place for it, maybe by the turnover chain. And I was posed the question. I tweeted this on Saturday. I was in the bookstore because I don't usually go to like campus bookstores, but at Notre Dame, I felt like I wanted to get like something like college football-y because like I don't care about Notre Dame, but I wanted
everywhere
something
I go,
college football.
Everywhere I go, I get a magnet or something for that reason because
it depends on where I go. Yeah. Like I'm not that way with every campus, but obviously Notre Dame I wanted to, and then so anyway, and I don't understand why they don't make major specific signs for every major at the school. Like if you got me one of these that said report like a champion today or write like a champion today, I literally would pay, I don't know, $250 for it. And I would hang it up in my office and, heal like a champion today for the med school, litigate like a champion today. Supposedly there's some knockoffs. Somebody tweeted me that their accounting school has like an audit like a champion today sign, but like these should be in the school bookstore.
I looked this up because you had said it, and from what I could gather, Notre Dame is basically just like very protective of that brand, and they don't want to use it everywhere. You know how like Pistol Pete, the Oklahoma State mascot, the cartoon.
Yeah,
There's
a bunch of
doing everything. There's a lot of veterinarians in the Dallas area who went there, and there's a vet version of Pistol Pete. They don't want to do that. However,
they should.
I remember a commercial that was like that, a Notre Dame commercial, like when I was growing up, where like doctors would like, I don't know if they would hit a play like a champion sign or something like that, but I agree. In an era where you're trying to find every dollar imaginable,
Yeah.
surprise Notre Dame.
I would pay a lot of money there. They have a whole section of the bookstore devoted to Play Like a Champion stuff. And like I said, I liked the helmet with Play Like a Champion, but like Play Like a Champion's not on the helmet. So it felt kind of stupid.
Weird. That's
I know.
weird.
And like I don't care about the Irish logo really, but like the Play Like a Champion sign is like that's college football. And
by the way,
what I loved.
yeah. Speaking of Irish, our friend Connell Diggin, who was on the show earlier in the year, he was at the Alabama-Tennessee game. So shout out to him. I saw him and the Pro Football Ireland people were in town. So next time Connell's on the show, we'll have to ask him about it.
If you're a neutral and you're in from Ireland, I think you have to bring a cigar to that game and just smoke it regardless and just blend in. I feel like you have to.
Yeah. We'll get into that game. We'll get into Notre Dame, USC, and a lot. Please check out the show notes if you want to jump ahead to anything. We have timestamps in there. Send all feedback to bunchformationpod@gmail.com, and we're Bunch Formation on all of the social medias. Our clip from last week of your sports bar comment blew up on TikTok. We got like 200,000 views on that thing.
Chris, you know me. I'm a big TikTok guy. I have so many clips of just me doing interpretive dances to hit pop songs or whatever else they do on TikTok. I'm yelling 6'7", whatever the kids are doing. That's me.
Please leave us a 5-star rating and review. We read all of them on the show. We did get a couple more 5-star ratings, but not reviews on Apple, so none to read there. We do have a couple of Spotify comments as well. Dame says, great podcast. I have a beef, though. Can we chill with the buyout talk? Who gives an F? If a program wants to get rid of a coach, it will, period. Dame might be right, based on what has happened so far and will continue to happen in this cycle.
It's still part of the arithmetic. If Mike Norvell had a $2 million buyout, we wouldn't be sitting here wondering when. It would have been done.
Yes, same with Wisconsin. We will get to them. Gregory Reese Font says, 5-star review. I've been listening every week and greatly enjoyed the show. Thank you to both of you. And with that, we got a lot of news to talk about. And before we get to the games, we're going to talk about the news that came down on Sunday. We got some coaches fired. That means we start off with the news segment, which we call the Media Scrum.
That's why I don't read the newspaper, because it's garbage.
Florida has finally fired head coach Billy Napier after a narrow win against Mississippi State on Saturday. It ended the way it always played out, which was Florida having some mismanagement of the number of players on the field and nearly costing them the game. They went at one point in the game, they go for 2, 12 men on the field, backs them up, kick an extra point. Then Mississippi State is driving for the win, but they throw an interception, they lose. But Billy Napier's gone. He went 22-23 there. Never won more than 8 games in a season.
Yep.
He came in because Dan Mullen was a winner who couldn't recruit, and that thing was going down very quickly his last year. Napier came in and could recruit. He signed 2 top 10 classes the last 2 years, but he couldn't coach them up. And so a lot to talk about here on Florida. How good is this job? Who are the candidates? We'll touch on all of that. But David, your initial reaction?
Yeah, just not good enough. I mean, I think they gave him enough time. They gave him all the chances that he needed. You know, it is what it is in terms of the firing. In terms of what is next for them, Chris, I think it's important to note that the Florida job is not as good as you think. I think people think of this job because of Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier as, one of the absolute best jobs in college football.
3 national championships since 1996. The only school with more is Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's true, but you look at that and you look at the rest of the history of Florida football, and when the program is not being run by 2 of the greatest coaches to ever walk the face of the sport, it's a pretty average program. It's not great. And so I think Florida has a wildly high ceiling. Obviously, we've seen that. I think there's nothing stopping you from winning national championships, but it's not automatic. Not anybody can do it. You need to get this hire right. The future of the program's fine. I don't think there's a lot of shifting sands in the sport that are going to change fundamentally Florida's ceiling. But it's always going to be competitive in the state, and you're always going to be in the SEC, and you've always got to recruit at a top 5 level to do that. And winning close games, recruiting at top level is hard, and only the really good coaches do it. So I would caution people to temper their expectations for Florida, because it's not like whoever they hire is going to walk in and 10 wins is the floor. That's not what Florida has been.
So I rank this job behind Penn State. I gave Penn State an A grade. I gave Florida an A minus. Very close. Like
it's very close, I think.
A minus. But the reason is this, and a couple Florida people text me upset about it. My pro wrestling podcast co-host Adam Silverstein at CBS didn't like it. And the answer is what you just said there. The floor is not 9 wins. And Florida is looking for its 5th head coach since Urban Meyer left. 5th. They're running through these guys. Now, a lot of these guys had highs. McElwain won 2 division championships. Mullen went to 3 New Year's 6 games. I think Muschamp might have gone to 1 as well. But it's very up and down here.
Yep.
And the reason I rank it below Penn State is because I think the floor at Penn State is a lot higher for several reasons. One, you're not in the SEC. You're in the Big Ten. It's an easier path.
Yep.
You can kind of dominate Northeast recruiting there, and they've done a really good job at getting down into the Chesapeake Bay area too. James Franklin, in his 11 years, not counting this year, but the previous 11 years, averaged 9 wins a season. Florida in that span averaged 7.6 wins in that span. Now, Florida had more highs, like I said, but James Franklin was able to average 9 wins a year without doing very much that notable. He won 1 Big Ten championship and a Rose Bowl, made a semifinal by beating SMU and Boise State. That's it. And he could still win 9 games a season. And
5 losing seasons the last 10 years.
And when I put a job as an A job, I think almost anybody can come in and do pretty well there. I think all those coaches at Florida, if you put them at Penn State, would have similar results to what James Franklin did ultimately. So I think Penn State is a better job. That doesn't mean Penn State will get the better candidates necessarily because of various reasons. So we'll get into those in a minute. But Florida, they have improved. They were for a very long time behind on facilities, behind on money, and a lot of this stuff.
The indoor facility thing was a long-standing issue.
Long time. They finally just opened a really nice football facility. I've seen it. I've been there. It's great. They finally stepped up to pay players. You got DJ Lagway. You kept DJ Lagway. You did some of these things. So they have stepped up in that way. But you're in a league now with Texas, with Oklahoma, with Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Ole Miss is spending money. Like, as we've seen in the SEC, it's all like crunched together now. And the path is a lot more difficult. So Florida, good job. The highest of upsides, higher upside than Penn State.
Yes.
Like, we've seen it. You can win the national championship there, but I don't necessarily think that means day in, day out, a better job. Also, the administration is kind of a mess there. They still have an interim president because of a lot of political stuff. They tried to hire the Michigan president. The state said no. It's a whole thing there. So on Florida, do you want to talk candidates now and what they do?
Let's do it. I think it's the richest collection of candidates for sure. It feels like a really good field where you can't mess it up, but maybe you can. Go ahead.
So, yes, let's start with Lane Kiffin. That is the one everybody wants. That's the one people think Lane Kiffin wants. It's the one Florida is going to go after. Now, will he say yes? We don't know. But everything about Lane Kiffin fits Florida. He wears a visor.
He's Spurrier reincarnated.
He talks trash. He puts up points and he wins games. That is what Florida is. Like, programs have identities And Florida, when it's good, that's what it is. A cocky coach that puts up a lot of points. And Lane Kiffin fits that to a T. The question is, would he leave Ole Miss? He turned down Auburn before to stay at Ole Miss. He's got a top 10 team right now. They've given him pretty much everything he's wanted. And in this day and age of college football, who's to say you can't win a national championship at Ole Miss? We got Vanderbilt in the top 10 right now. Like, all these things are possible. What do you think about Lane in Florida?
I think it comes down to like a personal decision for him. I think, obviously Lane in his younger years, craven's not the right word, but like clearly he just wanted to get to the best job, right?
Yep.
I want to win championships and get to the best job. And I think failure at USC, going to the Nick Saban rehabilitation program, for a couple years as an OC, I think it birthed a different coach with a different level of perspective that has made him a better coach. And just reading between the lines, when he was at Tennessee and with the Raiders and really young, it felt like he was trolling to like prove himself, to like shake things up. Now when he does it, it feels like it's because he's having fun and like doesn't take this that seriously. It just feels different.
Did you see the picture he posted before the Georgia game?
No.
That was the hot yoga thing that Kirby Smart was making a joke about. Lane Kiffin, a picture of him shirtless with I don't know if it was his wife or his daughter. I didn't look that closely, but two women with him.
I did watch the clip from game. I didn't get to see game day, but I did watch the clip where he was in the courtyard talking about how Saban would be so mad that there were people doing yoga. It's just like, like Lane, is just the funniest person in college football. It's close between him and Eli, but like
the coaches, when you talk to coaches who talk about Lane, they find him bizarre and fascinating and funny. Like the way he texts, the way he talks in private is the way you see him in public. That's just kind of how he is. He's a rabble-rouser.
So circling around, like in another world, it'd be like, of course he's going to go there. But like, I think right now, a lot of it depends on like what is the status of his family. Do they still want to be in Oxford? He seems really happy there. He's succeeding there. Other than better odds to win a national championship, like I think I could see him asking, like, what does Florida offer me that Ole Miss can't? And what am I risking by going to Florida and not staying at Ole Miss? And I think, a friend of mine always used to talk about the push-pull theory with changing jobs. It's true for anybody at any job. And that if you're going to switch jobs, there should be something pulling you away from your job and something pushing you away from your job. And if you don't have both of those things, then the best advice I've been told is to just stay pat. And like, what's pushing Lane out of Ole Miss right now? He's got money. He's got capital. He's got cachet. He's got a team that, is in contention for a national championship. Like,
it's a roster-based sport now, player acquisition-based sport, and he's doing that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it would not surprise me if he left, but it's certainly not a given at all.
Yes. I do wonder, like, if Florida doesn't get him, the fans like freak out. Because talking to our colleague Matt Baker, who's down there in Tampa, he thinks fans are going to just go crazy if they don't get Lane. Like, everybody's locked in on him. So we'll see.
There's a bunch of good coaches out there.
By the way, Lane at Ole Miss, he has 3 top 11 finishes in the last 4 years. They made a Sugar Bowl and a Peach Bowl, both New Year's 6 games. And then last year they fell short of making the playoff. And now he's got a top 10 team again with a very possible path to a playoff spot.
It's worth noting
he's
that,
winning here.
Has anyone, we've sort of established that you can't build these super teams anymore. And some of these super teams have humbled, like Tennessee in the past, Ole Miss a couple years ago when they went down to Athens and took a beating. Like, we've seen that those super teams, we was never going to be able to create that. But when there aren't any,
that's the thing, because
it becomes more reasonable because you're trying to build in Florida what you have at Ole Miss with the theory that the ceiling is higher, and it probably is. But like,
well, in some ways, kind of has a lesser version of the James Franklin problem, which is doesn't win enough big games, loses all those games to Alabama and Georgia. He did beat Georgia last year, though, and that's why I think
rather definitively, by the way,
and it's why I think and look, and this was a back and forth close game this year. So like, I think you got to stop like 23, 2022, like pre that era. It's like, it's not comparable to what it is now. He's at Ole Miss and can win these games as he did a year ago. If they don't lose to Kentucky, they're in the playoff last year. Like that's just, but that's also on Lane for losing to Kentucky, which is another.
But I don't think that's an Ole Miss issue. I think I don't know what happened in that game. It was a weird game.
No, but is it a Lane issue with big games? I'm just saying, like the reason against Lane, essentially, he hasn't won a conference championship outside of FAU. He's only won one division championship. He did that at USC, but they were banned from the postseason. They went 10-2. This is not an Ole Miss who has made the SEC championship game. It has lost games it shouldn't lose. I'm just saying, I don't think it's a guarantee it's going to work. I don't think anything in coaching searches anymore is a guaranteed going to work.
Totally agree with you on that.
Look at Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, which we thought was a layup. So that's kind of the downside to Lane and why, whatever reason, you may or may not like him. However, if you have Lane Kiffin, DJ Lagway's probably going to stay. You know, that's another part of it. That's, again, the roster part of this. DJ Lagway can't technically go into the portal until they hire a new coach because of these rules. So does he want to play for Lane? I think it makes sense if he wants to. So
yeah, I mean, Lagway, he's in a great spot. I mean, listen, he can sit back and watch and see and, you know, pick his spots. And if he doesn't like it and he wants to go in the portal, you know, he'll have 1,000 places to go come January. So DJ Lagway is going to be fine.
Let's talk about other potential candidates here. I'll list a bunch of names, and you talk about whoever you want to talk about. All right. Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz, SMU coach Rhett Lashley, Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee, Washington coach Jed Fish, who is an alum of Florida, Tulane coach John Summerall, USF coach Alex Golish, Georgia Tech coach Brent Key, Penn State coach James Franklin. And then I think you kick the tires on Marcus Freeman. You ask him. He's probably going to say no, but I think he's someone you ask. But other of the rest of those, anybody stand out to you?
So I'm going to speak from my perspective and from the perspective of Florida fans, because I don't know that I think Freeman's the only guy that would get Freeman, Lane, the only people that would like get Florida fans excited. That said, I think a bunch of these guys can succeed. I think it's a good fit for Rhett Lashley. You know, I think that would be a good pickup for him. Obviously, he spent some time in Florida, knows the landscape a little bit. You know, the Arkansas thing is looming, but I think he seems to understand that that's a tough gig, and it has gotten a lot more coaches fired than it's gotten them, you know, lengthy runs. So, you know, I think he would do well there. You know, Eli Drinkwitz, what he's been able to do at Missouri, we talked a little about him on last week's show. It's pretty unbelievable. And you know, I think Eli would definitely be interested in a bigger platform. You know, John Summerall.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me talk about those guys first. We'll keep
Eli.
You know what Eli likes to wear during games?
Visors.
A visor. You know what he likes to do? He likes to talk a lot of trash.
Yeah.
And his teams put up points. And like he's done a really good job at Missouri.
Yeah.
He was very forward thinking there and got Missouri to get ahead on a lot of things with NIL.
The consistency
and all this
is kind of amazing.
And that's how they got talent there, like Luther Burden and all that. You do have to wonder though, like I know they're 6-1 or whatever right now, but like all those other schools and states have now caught up to what Missouri was doing. Can you keep that going? I think Florida is a place with obviously a higher upside there. It might be a time to look to get out of Missouri if you want to. With Rhett Lashley, yes, he's at SMU. Yes, he coached at Auburn for a long time. He also coached for 2 years at Miami, remember. He was the offensive coordinator there. Did a pretty good job there. And when he took the SMU head coaching jobs, he brought a ton of Miami guys with him, like Brashard Smith, who turned out to be a great player. So he's got connections to Florida there. He could talk a little trash too sometimes. He actually talked trash about the SEC. Remember I do
recall that off. Yeah, That's probably whenever he ends up in the SEC, it's probably going to come back to.
Yeah, I told him that when I talked to him later. I was, but
as far as like Eli, though, Missouri's been playing football for 124 years. There's one person not named Eli Drinkwitz who's won 9 games in consecutive years, and that's Gary Pinkel. And Eli has won 10 in 2 consecutive years, and he's on track to do it again. Like, what he's done at Missouri is amazing, and you can point to the whys, but the reality is that he is outpacing what Missouri historically has been. Early on in his tenure there, he did not. But it's not easy to win 10 games in back-to-back seasons at Missouri. There's a reason why one person has done it.
Jed Fish, I think he would crawl to Florida for this job. It's
but I don't think he excites. I think he would do great there. I think that's a tough sell.
It could be a tough sell. I think it costs like $10 million to buy him out of Washington, I think, as well. He's someone who could be in the mix at UCLA too.
Yeah, I like
keep
UCLA
an eye on that.
Fit for him a lot better.
Brent Key, Georgia Tech, interesting. Like, he gets the most out of his teams there, and they're tough, and they play Georgia tough. Sometimes, but how much of that is Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator? Very good. How much of that is Haynes King? What do they look like without him?
Do you think Florida could embrace a grizzled offensive line coach?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't really fit the identity.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, it's hard for me to see Brent Key, like, I think he would do okay there. The challenge at Georgia Tech is so different than the challenge at Florida. It's just night and day, but that's a weird fit for me.
With John Summerall and Alex Golish, I do wonder if Florida feels too burned by going for the G5 coach last time.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably do.
And oftentimes you hire the opposite of your ex. And not only that, but Summerall is a G5 coach in Louisiana, just as Billy Napier was. And Golish, he's in the state of Florida now. He beat you. I mean, that can kind of help maybe sell it. He did coach at Tennessee before that too, and he spent a lot of time at UCF with Heupel. So he's got connections to the SEC, to Florida. You just see how they finish the year. A lot of these coaches, by the way, Clark Lee at Vanderbilt too. I don't know what impact the playoff is going to have on this, because if you have these guys coaching in the playoff into the first round, I don't know if these schools want to wait that long. Maybe we don't know. This is the first year where the portal technically isn't until January. So
be a little more patient.
We don't know how it's going to go. And so that would be interesting. James Franklin, we'll talk about his college game day thing in a second. He clearly wants to coach. Florida, probably not the fit for anybody here, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Clark Lee would be interesting at Vanderbilt. He's at his alma mater, just like Brent Key is. Sometimes that can be hard to pull a guy away from where he is. And again, like Kurt Cignetti has Indiana in the top 5 and just signed a deal where he's going to retire there. Like, a lot of these guys, you don't necessarily need to leave if you feel like you're in a good position. Like, who would have thought one day the Indiana coach was going to turn down, not that he was offered, but that he was going to he's going to take himself out of the running for Penn State. Like, that just happened. So, anything's possible. The money's on Lane. Everybody thinks it's going to be Lane Kiffin. It makes sense for all the reasons in the world. The people who know Lane Kiffin tell us they think it'll be Lane Kiffin. But you never fully know with Lane until he does it. See, he was going to Auburn until he wasn't. And so we will see on that. Anything else on Florida before we move to the next one?
No, I think it's an interesting job. Kind of can't believe Billy didn't work out. I got to tell you. Like, modernizing the recruiting operation, like, it's still astounding how bad it was.
It felt like he just completely this is a guy who coached at Alabama for a long time, coached at Clemson for a long time. The recruiting coordinator was a winner at Louisiana. Like, it just felt like the thing he was supposed to be the best at was like the managerial aspect of it. He never got that right. He kept calling the plays. Probably wasn't a good idea that he did that. The procedural penalties, the too many people on, like, it just never got better. And DJ Lagway saved him last year, couldn't save him this year. Just very surprised. It was really kind of strange. It's why we never know. You really never know who's going to work and who won't. Other opening, Colorado State fires Jay Norvell at Colorado State. He went 8-5 last year, but that was their only winning season in the last 8 years. I think the defining thing about Colorado State is it's a job that everybody thinks should be better. And it just, hasn't been for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like I said, 7 losing seasons in 8 years. You got a new stadium that's not that old. You got really great facilities. They pay well. Norvell was making almost $2 million a year. Beautiful place, if that matters, to recruits. So this is an interesting one. You and I both know Jay Norvell. You've known him for a while.
Yeah, I covered him at OU like 16 something years ago. He was a receivers coach under Bob Stoops. Good dude. He'll mix it up with people. Yeah, Jay's a good dude.
So names to watch here: Tim Skipper, the interim head coach at UCLA. He's a former Colorado State assistant. I think a lot of people are also looking at Michigan running backs coach Tony Alford. He's a former Colorado State great running back. He's been passed over for this job a couple of times. And some people, they have a new AD in there now. People around there want to go for Tony. I think Missouri offensive coordinator Kirby Moore, Montana State coach Brent Vegan, former Boise coach Cal offensive coordinator Brian Harsin, and then Prairie View A&M coach Tremaine Jackson. He formerly coached at Colorado Mesa, so there's a little bit of a connection there. But any thoughts on Colorado State or?
No, I'm with you. I think it is a good job. The stadium is really, really nice, and they're going into the new Pac-12, right?
They are.
Yeah,
which is good and bad. Which is good and bad because that's going to be a difficult conference.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still that's sort of a selling point. I think it's also important to note, Chris, as we go into the carousel season, that I don't feel that much. You don't want to see guys get fired, but I never have that much pity for the head coaches that have the giant buyouts. But I think as these things happen, the people that I think about are, the staffs are big, and there's a lot of people on these staffs making 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000, like normal salaries, sometimes supporting families on that. And they are out of job and have a couple months here to figure out what's going on. In a lot of cases, uproot their family for the umpteenth time in a long time. Those are the people that I feel bad about. There's so much attention paid to, well, it's going to cost us $6 million to pay the coordinators off. We got to get the head coach $20 million. Those people are going to be fine. Mm-hmm. They can do whatever they want to do. And, we lost $500,000 on our house. It's like, okay, it'll be okay. But I feel bad for a lot of the support staffers. It's an unforgiving business in a lot of ways. So
absolutely.
Tip of the cap to the staffers. Not necessarily even the on-field guys. Like most of the on-field guys are making, especially in the P5, like 300 to 800, and that's not necessarily the case for a lot of people that are on the support staff, that are the analysts, that aren't the fired coaches, like the guys trying to just make their way up or move. And so shout out to those guys. Good luck and keep grinding.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of those guys on those places that have since fired coaches, and it's tough, man. Like for anybody who's been in a job where maybe your company merged with another and there were redundancies and people got laid off, or you had a great boss but your boss got fired or left for another job and a new boss came in and changed things and kicked you out. Like it's tough. So definitely hope all those people can do okay through all of that. Someone who is not part of that group, someone who's getting paid a whole lot of money not to coach. James Franklin did an interview on College Game Day. Wanted to touch on this real quick.
It was odd.
No hard questions. I don't know what people expected. I don't know. Some Penn State fans
didn't care that much. I was just curious if he was going to shade Penn State.
Some Penn State fans thought he was going to try to do that or burn the place down. Like that is no. He was normal James Franklin, just speaking in generalities and nothing. Well, all the people on the College Game Day.
I heard he was just trying to get better.
Wait. Just gassed him up about how great gassed him up and talking about how great he was. And how unfair it was that he got fired, which anybody can kind of have your opinion on that. But the big takeaway was James Franklin wants to keep coaching. And the whole point of that interview was to set up and show athletic directors, hey, he's still a good coach and you should hire him.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was weird to go on set and not do something taped.
You think it was weird to have a sign behind him that says Lane Kiffin poop standing up while you're trying to talk serious? Yeah, that was a little bit weird.
Physiologically, I have a lot of questions about that sign, but yeah. Weird choice, but whatever. There's just so little value in that. It's just sort of like I'm showing face. I'm still here. Like I'm fine. I'm not, in a dark room crying, listening to Elliott Smith or whatever. He's fine.
And to pull the curtain back a little bit, I think some of these things that don't get that should be disclosed is that Nick Saban, who to the world told James Franklin it was unfair as hell that he got fired, shares the same agent. Jimmy Sexton and CAA, who rep a lot of the big guys. Most of the coaches who were in the mix to replace Saban, but then stayed and got big raises, also Jimmy Sexton guys. So like CAA just, it very much felt like CAA and all the people kind of set it up to like lift up one of their own here to help him get another job into something. This is kind of the inner workings behind the scenes of things that I think need to be disclosed a lot more. I don't have an agent, but some media people do. Some of them have the same agencies that represent a lot of the coaches and the ADs, and this is how a lot of the sausage is made. And I think we saw some
real
of that.
talk here. We're dipping into real talk, Chris.
And I think we saw some of that on
College
Game Day.
I could see coaches' frustrations as people in the business for. He was in the Final Four last year. He's won all these games.
Yeah, which is fine.
He goes on a 3-game skid and he's out. That seems unfair. I can see how they got there, but considering all the context, I thought he was mostly treated fairly.
Nobody asked him like, why didn't it work? The university gave you everything. You brought all these guys back. Why didn't it work? That's that's what it was. To lose
the whole question, because I still don't really know.
They never pushed back on it.
Our place has had some reporting on it. ESPN reported on it. There was been a couple other places that had some. I still didn't come away from any of those stories feeling like
there's no smoking gun.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
they just lost and lost games they shouldn't have, and everybody kind of lost faith. So anyway, we'll see where James Franklin pops up. Our colleague Grace Rayner, by the way, wrote a great column saying that Virginia Tech should hire him. I think that'd be a great fit for a lot of reasons. He recruits the heck out of that area, the Northern Virginia area. He's a winning coach.
Yeah.
He's very good at systems and organization and all that stuff. And they could use that there. So we'll see. Maybe he thinks he can get a better job, but we'll see if that works.
Enter Sandman, enter James Franklin, right?
All right. That was a lot of coaching carousel talking. At the time of recording, Mike Norvell still at Florida State, Luke Fickell still at Wisconsin. So things may have changed. If they do, we'll talk about it on Thursday. So with that, we will now actually finally talk about the games that happened this weekend, because it was a pretty crazy game. And so it's time to get into our game recaps.
Kids are playing their tail off, and the coaches are screwing it up.
Georgia 43, Ole Miss 35. This game was insane.
Great game.
Ole Miss had 5 touchdowns on its first 5 drives. Georgia never punted. Eventually, Georgia got enough stops in the fourth quarter, came back and won. And I don't know if I have any major takeaways from this other than this is just what Georgia is. The defense is not great. But Gunnar Stockton makes plays.
The best he's played all year. He had some moments in that Tennessee game, but he had to be great to keep them afloat. And then the defense sort of catches up late in the game. To me, again, maybe this is just a lot of faith in Georgia. I kind of felt all game like once Georgia can string together a stop or two, they're going to win this game. I kind of felt like they'd win it the whole time, and they did. But yeah, Gunnar, the best I've seen him look. He seems to be really comfortable. They seem to be really confident in him. And I love how they're using what they do have. Like Zachariah Branch, man, they're finding ways to get him the ball. And when he gets the ball, you can see defenders are scared of him. And it's good to see him back going nuts. So, yeah.
Yeah, Georgia back into the top 5 now, and they will be right there in the SEC mix. It's just we kind of got to organize.
The SEC race is wild, man.
The SEC race is going to be nuts. We got to know.
I don't know who's going to be in Atlanta, and I think there's going to be some good teams at home. But I think it's softer at the top than they would like you to think. But it's a bunch of really good teams that can do some stuff. So yeah,
including Alabama 37, Tennessee 20. Ty Simpson really good once again. Alabama gets through the gauntlet unscathed. The first SEC team ever with four straight ranked wins without a bye. They finished the season with South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, an FCS team, and Auburn. If you were to pick a team most likely to reach Atlanta, it would be the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, this game very much changed on that interception pick 6 before the half, which boggled my mind for so many reasons. Really turned the game. Why are you under center and running play action on the last play of the half. Everybody knows you're going to throw the ball. You don't have any timeouts.
Well, there was like 7 seconds left. I mean,
they weren't going to run the ball though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't disagree. I think you could have got 2 snaps off. I mean, at the end of the day, like the play worked. If he throws it to the pylon on the outside shoulder, it's a touchdown. He short-armed it, threw it short. I don't know if he saw the defender. I don't know if he saw him or not. It's tough to say. But we haven't seen much bad Joey on Rocky Top. Anybody who's watched him at App State, you kind of know what he is at this point. And it's been mostly good Joey. Saw some not great moments at Alabama, but again, it's hard win on the road. Tennessee under Josh Heupel has not been great on the road. Tennessee, I mean, you take that. You flip that pick 6 to a touchdown.
It's a 14-point swing.
It's a toss-up game. And then once you're doing that, I mean, you're playing uphill. That's tough to do on the road against Alabama.
Yeah.
Have you been to the third Saturday in October, Chris, before?
Nope. I've not been to either stadium for a game.
Okay. The cigar smoke, man. Like, I think I've been to the third Saturday in October, I don't know, 5 of the last 7 years, something like that. The cigar smoke is, like, intense. It is wild. And then, obviously, after 2022, when they stormed the field, we had people ripping up pieces of the Neyland turf to take home and all that stuff. But, like, the number of cigar butts that were on the field after that was, like, insane.
Picking that up has to be a pain in the butt.
Well, we say the thing about coaches. I think. Yeah, we say that about coaches, but we can say about the turf management crew as well. That's what the money's for.
Yeah. Louisville 24, Miami 21. David Ubben, are you ready to admit Louisville is a bit more than
I don't trust them, but I think they're solid. I think they're good on the line of scrimmage. Miller Moss, I feel like that was a good marriage. I think Miller Moss, is he the most talented quarterback Jeff Brom has had?
Well, this is why I liked him coming in because Jeff Brom was putting like Aiden O'Connell and Tyler Blau and Jack Plummer and putting these dudes in the NFL. And I'm like, give him Miller Moss. And, and Miller Moss has actually not had a great year.
He hasn't.
He's part of the reason they lost to Virginia. He had a really bad pick 6. They lose that game in overtime, 2 defensive touchdowns allowed. But this is a team that has just one loss, that Virginia loss. Yep. They can run the ball pretty well. And Jeff Brom was in his bag those first 2 drives. Miami had no idea what was coming. Louisville put 3 QBs out there, none of them under center. They got lazy taking the snap, and it's boom, boom, 14-0, before you know what's happening. And from then on, Miami woke up, and the defense started to clamp down. But they didn't have enough firepower to come back because Carson Beck throws 4 interceptions. 4. He had multiple 3-interception games last year. And I think we saw the limitations of Miami on display here. Because you and I both said this is the most complete team in the country. It feels like there's nothing they don't do well. Well, they don't get big plays, and they're not running the ball very well. And suddenly that became a problem. What do you think of all this?
Have you looked at the ACC standings, Chris?
Yes.
It's nuts. So you have Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU, of course, at the top, undefeated.
Of course, yeah.
Pitt with 1 loss, Duke with 1 loss. They're together at 3-1. Then you got Louisville and the Calgorithm sitting there at 2-1. And then Andrew Luck's Stanford Cardinal sitting there at 2-2. And then you have Miami at 1-1 in like 9th place. And then we have Clemson.
Some mathematical. Here's the thing about Miami, though.
I'm just saying, but like it's Miami, crazy to see that this race is gonna be nuts too.
Miami does not control its path to Atlanta anymore. Because Virginia and Georgia Tech have easy schedules the rest of the way. They don't play each other. They also don't play Miami. And I think SMU's got Miami, but I don't think plays the others. And I don't know if Louisville, like, so many of these top ACC teams do not play each other. And so you have no idea what's going to happen down the stretch here. It's almost like it's almost like an 18-team conference makes no sense.
The Big 12 had it right, man. 10 teams, 9 games, round robin, one true champion. So, like, Miami, I still think they're fine.
The remaining schedule is very favorable.
Yeah.
Even if you're 10-2, like your wins against USF and Notre Dame are really good. They didn't have those non-conference wins last year.
Yep.
So like if Miami's 10-2 and gets to the ACC championship game, I think they're in. Back to the point of I don't know if a loser of a conference championship game will get knocked out like we saw with SMU last year. So Miami's still in a pretty good place, but like this was the whole thing we worried about Mario Cristobal, man.
Yeah.
When are they going to lay the dud? And this is, I know this was a Friday night, but it's off a bye. And so your team was rested. And this felt like the game. This was the hardest remaining game on the schedule. I guess maybe now SMU. But it was like, can we see if Miami's different this time? This is where we would expect the letdown. And what did they do? They let down again.
I don't know if there's a quarterback coach combo that I trust less than Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of talent there. They looked really good, but oof.
By the way, Jeff Brom, 4-0 in the regular season against top 5 teams. He is someone who I think maybe we start to hear a bit more around some of these bigger coaching names. By the way, he's coached at Western Kentucky, Purdue, and Louisville. So like not top jobs.
Yeah.
But like Brent Key and like Clark Lee, he's at his alma mater. He left a Big Ten job in Purdue. He went to the Big Ten championship with Purdue and still left for Louisville. So like it may be hard to pull him from there. But
You got to wonder if he'll be fishing for some XFL jobs, though. His true calling.
What's that XFL quote he had? Like, we're here to play football, so let's play football. Something like that. An amazing.
Great day to be alive. I don't remember what it was.
It's a great.
It was very funny.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, Arizona State 26, Texas Tech 22. Hello.
For my
Texas
money,
Tech.
Chris, the most shocking result of the weekend.
I got one other one I think I would nominate, but maybe
The
I
way
shouldn't.
it played out. Listen,
Arizona State should have put this game like away a long time prior. They
Yes.
kept kicking field goals. They're up 19-7. Texas Tech comes back, scores 2 touchdowns, takes the lead. Then Arizona State comes down and wins it. And so back and forth.
Arizona State is so weird because Kenny Dillingham and this team, they're making a business out of, getting in these games when it feels like they got no shot. I mean, last year against Texas, we were on this show. Well, maybe not this show, a different show. And it was like, we don't even need to really discuss this. Like, Arizona State's been a nice story, but like, all right, there are limitations to these things. And we came in, we didn't know if Sam Levitt was going to be able to play, but I was pretty confident that I didn't think it was going to matter because Texas Tech has been so dominant on the lines.
Yep.
That was, and now granted, no Baron Morton. That definitely mattered in that game.
But Will Hammond, he looked amazing against Utah. We thought it was fine. He did not look good in this game, by the way. 4.5 yards per attempt, 167 passing yards on 37 attempts.
Yeah.
Not good for Tech. And maybe if Baron Morton plays, they win. I don't know. But Sam Levitt is a dog, man. He took a beating in this game. Already injured. Arizona State blown out by Utah a week ago without Sam Levitt. Comes back to win. Did you see the comment from Kenny Dillingham afterward? He's like, if we don't lose that game against Utah the way we did last week, we don't win this game here. Like, it had to play out that way. He's got such an incredible pulse on his team. It's why we like him. Texas Tech, very concerning things here, though, because I don't think 10-2 Texas Tech is getting in without a big.
Well, I think 10-2 Texas Tech is going to feel like they get in. And then when they get snubbed, we shouldn't be that surprised.
They don't have the wins that Miami.
Okay.
They don't have the wins that Miami does in the non-conference. And your best win is Utah, who's like, okay. We do have Texas Tech BYU in a couple of weeks. BYU's undefeated. That is going to be a gigantic game. Game. Also for Texas Tech, tight end Terrence Carter injured, was on crutches. It could be a big loss. He's a big time pass catcher for them. Anything else on Texas Tech? You were the one who a couple of weeks ago you were talking.
I've been on these guys. Listen, Texas Tech fans. I've been beating the drum.
Are you
for
worried?
I felt personally offended and let down in this game. I think Arizona State, man, they've been tough to read this year. Like going down to Mississippi State, and even though that's an improved team, they've kind of come down to earth a little bit. Losing that game was weird. Arizona State's been hard to figure, man. This was
you're not gonna believe this. They're playing one score games every week. just like they did last year, all the time. All right,
Yeah.
Vanderbilt 31, LSU 10. A game that just completely played out the way everybody expected.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt was favored. They led for most of the game. They won. There was no field storming. It just happened the way it did. And I think that
LSU
is
couldn't get off the field.
that is both the biggest compliment to Vanderbilt and the biggest indictment of what LSU is right now. Which one of these sides do you want to start on?
I mean, Vandy's legit. We'll talk about them more on Thursday's show, going into that pretty big Mizzou game. They got game day coming to West End. You know, Vandy is what Vandy is. I mean, I think Vandy, people don't take them seriously, and they're legit, and everybody takes LSU seriously based on basically nothing. What has LSU done this year that is worth taking them seriously?
I still have them ranked, and I'm not sure why. I just feel like I had them too high to begin with, that I can't plummet them at the moment. But there's nothing that's great. Vanderbilt, by the way, 6-1 for the first time since 1950. Path to the playoff, 2 for Vanderbilt, because it's Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee. Like, those are all winnable games, like very much so. So that's crazy. It's awesome. Vanderbilt, Indiana, Georgia Tech, all in the top 10 this week. Like, it's a new era of football. Where anything can happen. Everybody's got a shot. It's great.
It is.
LSU. I will be at LSU Texas A&M next week. My first.
I'm excited for you, Chris. You have not been to Death Valley before?
I have not been there, and it'll be a night game.
I'll warn you ahead of time. LSU, in part because they're backed up against the river, maybe some of the worst game day traffic I've ever experienced in my life.
Good to know.
So bad.
I'm staying west of New Orleans, so it'll only be it's only like an hour drive.
It doesn't
45 minutes.
It
it's
doesn't
like
matter.
La
It's fine coming back. It doesn't matter going in, Chris. Like, you get backed up against the river and you just you can't get in. It's bad.
Well, as long as I don't have an electric rental car, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not ready to talk Brian Kelly hot seat yet, but they've got LSU Bama the next 2 weeks, and then it's like, look, they can win that game against Texas A&M. That is a classic LSU down and out, win a top 5 game thing. So like, we'll cross it when we get there. But like T-Bob Hebert, who's now at Barstool, shredding LSU, saying it's the softest program he's ever seen. Everybody cares about their paycheck and not about winning, and just ripped him. And he didn't want to buy out Brian Kelly either. He doesn't want to give Brian Kelly the dignity of getting that money without coaching. But it's just never been a fit there, like, at all. And it's interesting timing because people wondered, would they hire Billy Napier at the time? Because he was at LSU, he was at Louisiana, right up the road in Lafayette. They didn't do it. They looked down upon it. They went and hired the Notre Dame coach. You know, Brian Kelly's done better than Billy Napier for sure, but Brian Kelly hasn't done what LSU expects. So,
to win the West and beat Bama in year 1, and then you have the wasted Jaden year where you're really fun but do nothing, and he wins the Heisman because the defense is dreadful. Made a really good hire on Blake Baker. Just the offense is bad, man. They're hard to watch.
They fixed the defense. Like, that was the problem. They fixed the defense, and then the offense
fell off. I mean, you know, it always seemed weird to me to lose Mike Denbrock back to Notre Dame after a year. You know, that doesn't bode well for your personality management, I guess we could say. And it seems like it's caught up to them because Notre Dame's offense is pretty good right now.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
LSU is in trouble.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Notre Dame 34, USC 24. You were at this game in the rain. Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price got to be the best 1-2 running back combo in the country.
They're awesome.
220 rushing yards for Jeremiah Love. This was ultimately, I think, the game we expected with Michigan USC a week prior. That didn't play out that way. But still, like, even despite that, like, USC has a bad trick play turnover trying a wide receiver pass in a downpour. He fumbles it. Notre Dame gets it. They allow a Notre Dame kick return touchdown. Like, very not hard to see a scenario where a couple of breaks go the other way and USC wins this game, but Notre Dame gets the win, the big win, the win they needed to get into the playoff.
Yeah, 10-2. I don't even think it's going to be close. I think they'll be like a 7-8.
Oh, I don't think that. Yeah, if they're 10-2, they'll be in at this point.
Yeah. So they've been playing football a while at Notre Dame. We talked about history at the top of the
No,
show.
they learned it from the University of Michigan. Taught them football.
I did. I wrote about this actually the start of the season in our rivalry blitz at the Athletic. You should read that story. I read about the craziest origin stories, and that was one of them because Notre Dame, was taught. Anyway,
isn't it great? Isn't it great that Notre Dame and Michigan don't play each other either? Another rivalry that's gone away.
Yeah.
This game, so they're not scheduled to play this game again right now.
Mm-hmm.
They want our colleague Nicole Auerbach, who works at NBC, former colleague, said that they're close for the next 2 years, 26 and 27, but they're working on a date. I think USC wants to play it earlier in the year to get it ahead of Big Ten play. Notre Dame wants it at the end of the year. Notre Dame's been pretty public of like, we'll do anything. It's USC and Lincoln Riley, the one who's like, well, I don't know. We got to think about our scheduling because you're in the Big Ten where you're losing to Illinois and Minnesota and Maryland. And like, what are you talking about, dude? It has been so embarrassing for Lincoln Riley and USC throughout this Notre Dame thing to basically just like Notre Dame makes you look like the bad guy, makes you look like a coward, which you're pretty much being, by the way. The Big Ten is not some murderer's row, like it's not like I don't think USC was going to replace this game because they wanted to play Texas more, like that's the whole problem with all of this. And it's not like USC's playing an extra conference game. They played 9 in the Pac-12. Like nothing has changed for USC. They're just not wanting to play this game a little bit, and it would be disgusting and despicable. I think we talked about it on the very first episode of this podcast. Was this topic? We discussed it, and now
asking fans for more while giving them less, including this game. I mean, I was there. You can feel the intensity of the rivalry from the players, from the fans. You could feel it. To finish the thought that I was saying before, that 228 yards from Jeremiah Love, nobody has ever run for more yards in a game in Notre Dame Stadium than that. Wow. That's wild.
Good for him. Maybe gets up into some Heisman conversation pretty soon.
He's on the short list of the best players in the country for sure. So,
all right, quick hot seat watch update here.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
Ohio State 34, Wisconsin 0. As of recording, Luke Fickell is still the coach. We'll see. It feels as done can be. It's just a matter of that buyout and if the AD is going to be around. I think like everybody's mad there. This team has scored 10 points this month. They're third worst nationally in scoring, 13 points per game, just barely ahead of UMass.
They're unwatchable.
Who is winless. Ohio State, real quick, they're mad at me because I have Ohio State number 2 instead of number 1. It'll work itself out. Relax. Ohio State's best win is like Washington or Texas. And
yeah, I just think there's a narrative that's been forming the last week or two, and I think it ramped up with the Miami loss, that like Ohio State is in a league of their own as the defending champs and as the team that's, they haven't lost, they've looked better than everybody else, and then it's sort of everybody else. Like, I just don't buy that at all, in part because of the schedule. And like, there's a lionization of their defense that's happening. They played one offense in the top 45, I believe. The numbers will shift after this weekend. Like, they're really good. They're definitely one of the best teams in the country. I don't buy either of those things. This is an all-time defense, and I don't buy that Ohio State's in a league of their own. That's really all I'm saying. It's not like an anti-Ohio State thing. Like, I think they're really good. They're not particularly watchable, but
nobody is. Ohio State fans who are, when the program is ranked number 2, are the most victimized fan base out there. My Twitter mentions have not been great. Guys, it's because they have nothing else to do. Every game's a blowout. It's boring for them. So they have nothing else to talk about other than be mad at the people who don't have them number 1, which it's a good problem to have. Admittedly, your team's very good.
Every game, it's like, okay, the other team can't move the ball and their offense sucks. And then we're going to throw it to Jeremiah Smith on a drag, and then he's going to break a tackle, and then he's going to score.
Well, no,
we're going to hand it to Bo Jackson.
Julian Sayin has been very good
He was really good.
Much
the other
better
day,
than I thought.
yes.
He's
Yeah.
exactly what they need in that offense. It's not just the receivers. Yes, he's a very good player. The two things that worry about me about Ohio State, they're not running the ball great, and the special teams have actually been pretty terrible this year. The punting is bad. They gave up a fake punt to Wisconsin in a big game that might be close. Keep an eye on Ohio State's special teams at some point later in the year. Missouri 23, Auburn 17. Auburn once again has a late lead and blows it and loses a close game. They are
Hilarious finish to this game.
They are now 0-4 in SEC play by a total of 29 points. This loss was in overtime. Hugh Freeze still there. I don't think they're going to fire him yet. Again, because they have been close. But then again, it's
results will matter down the stretch here. If they can't get a few here on the back end, get to a bowl game, then I think you're probably
don't lose to Diego Pavia again.
Well, I mean, they're going to be like a touchdown underdog in that game, right?
I do think the thing with Auburn here is Hugh Freeze, this was it. You handpicked Jackson Arnold. You guys got Eric Singleton and have these two amazing receivers, and your offense just stinks. It just does. That's supposed to be your side of the ball. So I don't know.
Well, that's the offensive line. I mean, they can't block for Jackson Arnold. I mean, the talent is what it is, but
can't see it. He's taken a lot of sacks that are on himself.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Chris, did you see Zion Young, Missouri's defensive end, during the coin toss for overtime?
No. I was driving home from Ari Wasserman's house. Yeah.
It's one of the funniest things that I have seen in college football. So they go out for the coin toss for overtime. He drops a couple expletives. He's just screaming at the Auburn players. You can't hear the coin toss at all. He's like, "Let's go, man. Let's go. It's that time. It's on." He's like, will not stop screaming on TV. It's so funny. And then he makes, a sack and a big tackle in overtime to back up Auburn and help them win that game and force a missed field goal. Just hilarious. Shout out to Zion Young. Somebody Cole Kubelik is great. And after the game, they Eli is being Eli. And he's like, "Did you see Zion Young?" And Cole's like, "I heard him during the coin toss."
Look, it's better than Matt Hasselbeck. We want the ball, we're going to score.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Back in the day.
I've never seen that before. And in retrospect, I guess I don't really know why. It's a chance to smack talk guys that are right in front of your face and can't really do anything, but nobody ever does it. So shout out to Zion Young.
The only thing you ever get is the one team offering the handshakes and the other team not doing it, and then both teams going "Oh, okay." So it's like that. You get that once in a while.
A handshake for overtime is there usually, right? It's only at the
I didn't see it. I mean, I think there is sometimes.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Anyway.
Stayed up late for this one.
I did not.
Stanford 20, Florida State 2013. As of recording, Mike Norvell is still the head coach. But Florida State is now lost 9 straight ACC games. They're 5-15 since they got snubbed from that CFP spot. They had won their previous 19 games.
Ugh.
They've lost 4 games in a row, all by 1 score. It's kind of a Hugh Freeze situation, but Virginia, maybe they're all right. Miami, okay. Pitt, not good. And then Stanford is dude, what are you doing? So it keeps getting worse. I don't know if Florida State doesn't have Big Ten SEC type of money, so I'm still not sure on that. And they just put a bunch of money into new facilities, so we'll see. But man, I did not expect it to be this bad. This is now maybe they don't make a bowl game territory, which would be disaster. I think Florida State's might win a couple of games, get to 6-7 wins, so you improve from 2 wins, and then we'll figure out from there. But maybe done. We will see.
Need more Thomas Castellanos, less Tommy Castellanos.
He got destroyed late in that game on a slide.
Yeah, it did not look good. I saw that.
He did not come back in the game. The backup came in and had no idea what he was doing. He completed 1 deep ball. Also, Florida State got some bad luck from the officials here too. They had a 4th down. Their last 2 drives. They got stopped on 4th down in the red zone. I thought he made it. They ruled it short. Couldn't really tell on a replay. Then the last play, the touchdown, the final play of the game, I thought he was in. They ruled him short. Couldn't tell on replay. It's over. That's 2 bad breaks. But then again, it's Stanford who played its backup QB for most of the game. You shouldn't be in that situation. Nope. Elsewhere in the hot seat, just keep an eye later in the season. Nevada and New Mexico State. I think the success of teams like UNLV and New Mexico is rubbing the locals the wrong way. Nothing now, but other jobs that could come down the stretch. All right, we wrap. Now we got some other games of note here. We'll go through these really quickly. Georgia Tech 27, Duke 18. Duke kind of blew this game. Like a 95
were the better team.
Return. They botched field goals. It was tied going into the fourth, but Georgia Tech pulls it out. Georgia Tech undefeated. The remaining schedule: Syracuse, NC State, BC, Pitt, Georgia. Like, path to the playoff is there. Credit to Georgia Tech for getting it done. Anything?
I'm looking forward to the what is it? Good old fashioned hate. That could very well be a good clean old fashioned hate. Too many adjectives. Let's trim it down, guys. I mean, that could be like a playoff elimination game. We'll see.
Could be.
There's a lot of football between here and there, but that's going to be a great game. Last year, obviously, was a classic, but this one might have significantly larger stakes.
Yep. BYU 24, Utah 21. This game was a rock fight. Bunch of fourth down stops, but BYU gets a win. They're still undefeated. The Bear Bachmeier touchdown run late was awesome. Utah just not been what we hoped. I still don't think BYU was great.
I don't either. But you're 6-0, 7-0 at this point. I'm being forced to sell like half of my Utah stock. So
yeah, unless they play a totally overmatched team, Utah has not been great. They'll beat up the bad teams and not play great. Devin Dampier, not what they wanted. Texas 16, Kentucky 13. I watched this horrible football game.
Good Lord, Texas.
Texas gets a goal line stuff in overtime on fourth down twice, and then field goal for the win. Texas had less than 200 yards of offense. Arch was bad. He's 94th in the country in completion percentage. This team is ranked, and I guess they kind of have to be because they beat Oklahoma last week.
Yeah.
But like, other than that Oklahoma game, man, this team has been a tough watch.
Kentucky's not good. And I don't know. I think this is the game you were referencing. That was probably the most shocking result of the weekend.
No, actually it wasn't.
Okay, well, to me, this was number 2. And Texas is a hard watch, and I don't. Arch continues to miss some of just like the basic stuff.
That's the thing.
And we're having to be confronted with like, this is not processing. This is not youth. This might just be kind of like who he is. It's weird.
There are things you don't think you can fix during the season. It feels like you're gonna have to wait till next year. Oklahoma 26, South Carolina 7. Just here to say, solid bounce back for Oklahoma. Like they've got a gauntlet of a schedule coming up. You had to have this one. Coming off the Texas loss on the road, you righted the ship. I think that's a good program win for Brent Venables there. And Oklahoma ran the ball like decently. So like maybe that's the start of something. Also, South Carolina fans seem very mad at Shane Beamer. And obviously it's not been a good season, but I see a lot of South Carolina fans like want him to go to Virginia Tech. And I'm like,
careful you wish for, guys. By the way, if you get a minute, say a prayer for Lenore Sellers. Have you been watching South Carolina of late, Chris?
Yeah, I have. The last 2 weeks at Ari's house.
R.I. Lenore is running for his life on every single play. Cole Kublik tweeted last week, and they ran it on the broadcast. During the game last week, he ran for 19 yards on 22 carries, but he ran a total of 895 yards. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers come in yet for what it was on Saturday against Oklahoma. Very similar. He was taking blindside hits. I don't know how many times he got hit in that game, but it felt like every snap. And he's just, there's a case to be made that maybe he could throw it away a little bit more, but like as soon as he snaps, he's running for his life. The offensive line is so bad. South Carolina, one of the worst offensive lines in the Power 4 right now.
And I do think losing offensive coordinator Dal Logans to the App State head job has hurt them as well. UCLA 20, Maryland 17. UCLA's done it again, folks.
Break up the Bruins. Break up the Bruins.
A walk-off
led by
goal.
Head coach Jerry Neuheisel, right?
Yeah, led by Jerry Neuheisel. Oh yeah, and Tim Skipper, who's the actual interim head coach, who's been doing a great job there. This looks like a good team, solidly. Now the gauntlet comes up here because it's Indiana, Nebraska, Ohio State, Washington, USC to close the season. If he wins 2 of those games, you have the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country there.
Yeah.
If you beat like Nebraska and Washington and get to 5 wins, like you may start to think Tim Skipper keeping the job there. Just saying.
Yeah, we'll see. Did you see, by the way, UCLA? They tweeted out the Jerry locker room video at like 1 a.m. or whatever I don't know when it was late. And then I saw they posted like a Tim Skipper video like this afternoon. I think you gotta give the people what they want, but I think it's rubbing some people the wrong way.
Yeah. Virginia 22, Washington State. Or actually, real quick, let me go back to Maryland. They are now 0-3 in October after a 4-0 start. They're doing what they always do. It's September Maryland. It's October Maryland. It's gotten so bad now to the point where I start to wonder, Maryland job, another job to watch could come open. You got Malik Washington. Maybe you want to keep him there, but they've lost these games, 3 straight games, all by 1 score. They're just Maryland doing what they do. It's a problem. The fan base may be giving up on him. We will see. Virginia 22, Wazoo 20. Another bizarre game. Virginia's got like team of destiny thing here. Like they have that overtime win against Louisville that made no sense. They're down 10 in the 4th quarter to Washington State. They get a touchdown, interception, field goal, then a safety. They win on a safety in the final minutes where they tackled the guy because I think Washington State, I think the wrong guy like called fair catch, and then they had to start at like the 2-yard line or something like that, and then they get stuffed. Washington State, by the way, getting better. Maybe the Ole Miss game wasn't a fluke. Like they may have it going kind of under Jimmy Rogers. But Virginia now 6-1 remaining schedule of North Carolina, Cal, Wake, Duke, Virginia Tech. Like the path is there. Even if Virginia is not playing great, they're getting these wins. Now,
Belichick's.
You stayed up for this one. I did not. Cal 21.
I didn't mean to.
UNC 18. UNC not only looked competent, they not only looked competitive, but Bill Belichick's team should have won this game. They fumble into the end zone late for a touchback.
On a little peanut punch at the 2-yard line.
And that was it. I didn't see the second half of this.
I watched this live in my hotel room in Chicago. I couldn't believe it. I was half asleep because I got sucked into this game. Like, UNC was the better team in this game, but they're driving down. It's a pretty, like, Gio looked about as good as he has. That was the first time I've watched Gio and been like, oh, I think I see a little bit of why they're playing him over Max Johnson. But the punch out, watching it live, listen, there's not a lot of people in the world right now that are feeling sorry for Bill Belichick, but like, it felt like I was watching a game that somebody had edited on Adobe Photoshop or something. It was kind of wild to see.
Part of me thinks like, oh, coming off the bye, maybe it's the first time like that they're starting to kind of figure things out. And there's also a part of me who's like, Cal may not be any good.
They play down to their competition, and you had a bye week. Like,
they lost 34-0 to San Diego State not that long ago. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but Cal's 5-2 though, and you got to feel good about where that's going. All right, this was my most shocking result of the day, even though maybe it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, UAB, I mean, interim coach.
Wait. Well, hold on. Let me say it. UAB 31, Memphis 24. Memphis was undefeated, ranked. UAB was ranked like 130th in my rankings. They fired Trent Dilfer. But Alex Mortensen, son of Chris, leads them to victory. This was my most shocking result. Maybe it shouldn't be because Ryan Silverfield always does one of these. He had UTSA, like he'll beat Tulane, he'll win you big games, and then he'll lose you 1 or 2 that he shouldn't. And that's a killer one in a very competitive American conference. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Crazy sequence late. They commit 2 false starts, trying to tie the game. They commit 2 false starts at the 1-yard line, a delay a game on 4th down. A mess, but shout out to Alex Mortensen and UAB for getting it done. The UAB offense, by the way, has been pretty good. For the people who think like Trent Dilfer wasn't qualified for the job, people thought Alex Mortensen wasn't qualified for the OC job because he'd just been an analyst at Alabama for like 10 years. But the offense is pretty good. So good for him.
Chris, would you like my stat of the week, I suppose?
I would.
Okay. Well, with Alex Mortensen taking over the job at UAB, we have 3 former Arkansas quarterbacks that are now head coaches in college football. That is Rhett Lashley,
Yep. Wait. Let me guess. Rhett Lashlee, Alex Mortensen, and that are head coaches. You said
That are head coaches. Yes.
head coaches. Not Jeff Bromley's at Louisville. I don't know who's the last one.
Dowell Loggins.
Oh, yeah. We were
And
mentioning him on the show.
I believe. Can you guess
Cradle
what
of coaches.
Can you guess what the career total pass attempts for that trio is?
Oh, they barely played at all. I know. I'll say 50.
22. Alex Mortensen had 17 attempts. My guy Dowell Loggins, one of the great holders of all time, had 5 attempts. So.
Look, they were great They were clearly great clipboard holders, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's worked out for them.
It's kind of wild that that has to be the most of any school. We got to do the numbers on this, but former quarterbacks that are head coaches in the FBS.
Specifically quarterbacks. I mean, USC maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if it was media people, it'd be like Alabama or USC or something. But yeah, coaches, I don't know. All right, Tulane 24, Army 17. Crazy game. Tulane had the ball twice in the first half because it's Army.
It's called playing Army. Yeah.
Army's up 17-10 at the 2-minute warning. Tulane's facing 4th down. Jake Retzlaff delivers a 4th down touchdown pass. Then they force a 3-and-out, get the ball back, and then get a double deflected touchdown catch.
One of the craziest tip
game.
drills I've seen in a long time.
As someone who's working on a story about Tulane, this is one of those situations as a reporter where you're really kind of hoping the team you've got a story coming out on doesn't lose, because then that makes it more difficult to frame the story.
Yeah,
so a fortunate result there. But Tulane gets the win in the American race, in the college football playoff race. Boise State 56, UNLV 31. UNLV finally gets got. Just couldn't stop anybody like they haven't been able to all year, but the offense was pretty good.
Round of applause for Boise, because listen.
By the way, if you didn't see David, that was David Ubben doing the timeout sign over his microphone.
Anyway,
just like Lane Kiffin.
UNLV was undefeated. You feel bad like not mentioning them or taking them seriously. We were talking about like not even just the Mountain West race, but just like playoff and all this stuff, because I've been watching UNLV and they're not very good. And so Boise, thank you for making sure that we can no longer talk about UNLV as a playoff contender.
Notable here, by the way, Dan Mullen said during the week he is going to be back as UNLV head coach next year. Like he is, and he tweeted
I believe him. It was so definitive. Like,
he tweeted at somebody, "I'm not going to Arkansas. They should hire Gus Malzahn." So, like he's having some fun with it too. But I think this is notable. I think this probably knocks the Mountain West out of the playoff race. Even more so makes it a American Conference winners probably getting that bid.
Yeah.
Because elsewhere we had James Madison 63, Old Dominion 27. Close game at halftime. JMU pulls away. They take control of the Sun Belt East. JMU's been not great this year, but they're 6-1 now, and now it's kind of their best performance of the season. They're in good position in the Sun Belt. We're at the bottom of the rankings here. These are why these teams are up. UConn 38, Boston College 23. Jim Mora's team, by the way, 5-2. Probably going to go to their 3rd bowl game in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a solid, and both losses in overtime. He's doing a solid job there. Boston College is so bad; they're worse than North Carolina. And if Oklahoma State didn't exist, they would be the worst Power 4 team. It's frankly shocking. And lastly, speaking of the Northeast, Buffalo 28, UMass 21.
I can't talk about this game, Chris.
Why is this game here? Because UMass, who was winless, was up 1 and got an interception with 59 seconds left. And I believe in the middle of celebration of that interception, they got like a 15-yard penalty or something like that. They go 3-and-out. Buffalo gets the ball back. Buffalo scores a touchdown. Buffalo wins the game. UMass remains winless. Both Sam Houston and UMass are 2 winless teams left. Both of them gave away a victory in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Minutemen, you got to be 60 Minutemen, not 59.
Keep your composure, fellas. Keep your composure.
All right, and we're going to now move to the helmet stickers, where we shout out a player who didn't get enough love, but we wanted to give them that attention here. We give this to our helmet stickers. And normally I would say, hey, this Division III player I'm mentioning didn't get enough attention. But by the time we recorded, he got enough attention. That is Curry College running back Monty Quinn, who had an NCAA all-division record, 522 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns on 20 carries. That's an average of 26 yards per carry. And just to make sure the tweet we all saw was real, I went to the box score to make sure it was, and it was. He had touchdown runs of 85 yards, 84, 76, 64, 58, and another guy had a 55-yard touchdown run. So Monty Quinn in the record books for an unreal performance. You get a helmet sticker.
Chris, can you tell me what state Division III Curry College is located?
Of all the things, should have been something I looked up. I'm gonna say Ohio.
No, it's Massachusetts, which is, some would say, the Ohio of the Northeast.
Look, this might be the best. This might be the best team in Massachusetts based on the last couple of.
Yeah,
games
that probably is true, actually. Mine is Mr. Ryder Burton. He stepped in for Jalen Kitten. 3 touchdown passes helped beat Memphis. UAB.
You did it again. You didn't say who he plays for before you said his name.
UAB
Nobody knows who Ryder Burton is.
Excuse me, UAB quarterback. Yeah, I'm too close to the UAB situation, so I just take it for granted. But that's a proud program, man. And, they've been through it the last few years. There's a lot of frustration. I'm curious to see what the future of UAB football looks like. But right now, I think the present looks like a bunch of guys fighting hard. So cool to see. Shout out to Ryder Burton. You get a helmet sticker.
Very good. And with that,
in the mail,
we're going to end the segment the way we normally do. And that is by remembering some guys.
It's better than this. Guys being dudes.
And in the spirit of Vanderbilt getting a big win, I'm going to go with former Vanderbilt quarterback Jay Cutler. We all remember him for the NFL. We remember him for his Kristen Cavallari relationship. Real ones remember him at Vanderbilt when he was a quarterback from 2001 to 2005. Just to show how much things have changed for Vandy. He was a first-round pick at quarterback, and yet he went 11-35 in his career, including 5-27 in the SEC. Even in a year in which he was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year in 2005, they went 5-7. But they did beat Tennessee in his last game for their first win in the rivalry since 1982. Jay Cutler, that's my guy.
Every time Vandy gets these quarterbacks, whether it's Cutler or Kyle Shermer, they end up beating Tennessee. So it's interesting. Might remember some guys, kind of a sadder one. The late Doug Martin. Details kind of sparse. Just he died suddenly. We don't really know a whole lot about that, but I do know a lot about his playing career at Boise State. 1,299 yards, 16 touchdowns his last season. Helped them beat Georgia in Atlanta in the season opener, a game that really legitimized that team. And obviously had a lot of success in the NFL. A lot of people know him for fantasy football. My understanding is he did not like the Muscle Hamster nickname, so I will not bestow that upon him here. It was obviously memorable, but I don't think he liked it. But just really sad. I think he was only 40 and
36, just 36 years old.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just really sad, and we remember Doug Martin. So
absolutely,
thanks Doug.
Nomination from listener Nate, who says, "Thanks for the great pod. I'm a Vanderbilt fan. Even though how he left upset some of the fan base back in the day, I always appreciated Coach James Franklin for showing Vanderbilt what was possible in football. And for my remember some guy, I'll offer 2 great players who played for Franklin at Vanderbilt. He's pulling it up and he's picking 2 guys. One, Chris Marv, great linebacker who went into coaching, was last the defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech. Hope he gets an opportunity soon. And the other, Jordan Matthews, the most decorated wide receiver in Vanderbilt history and one of the best in SEC history. After a long NFL career, he joined the Vanderbilt staff this year. Hope he catches on and gets some opportunities to move up in the coaching game." I did not know he joined the staff this year.
Yeah, I did. He's like a, analyst, intern, assistant coach with a position. He was stud. Obviously had a really good career. Spent a lot of time with the Eagles. Great player.
Absolutely. So Jordan Matthews, Chris Marv, Doug Martin, and Jay Cutler, we remember you. And we will be back on Thursday for the normal show. We got a lot of mailbag questions we'll try to get to. I haven't even really looked at the schedule yet, but every game feels like a big game now.
Yeah.
Like there's like dozens of teams that are in the mix for the college football playoff. We're not far from the first college football playoff rankings coming up. It is going to be a very fun finish to the season. By the way, thanks everybody for listening. The week 7 reaction episode, last week's reaction episode, the number 2 most listened to episode in the history of this pod, may get to number 1. If you haven't listened to it, go download it just real quick so we can bump that number up to number 1. But the last couple of weeks here, podcast numbers are going up. So we appreciate that. We're still growing here. People still finding the show.
Welcome aboard.
Absolutely. Send any feedback. Remember some guys, nominations, and whatnot to bunchformationpod@gmail.com. So for David Ubben, I'm Chris Vannini. We will talk to you on Thursday.
Pod like a champion today, guys. And bring back the turnover chain. I don't know where it should go. I'll find a spot for it. It'll be around.